I need to make this video about domestic violence because people really don't understand what it is. Most people think it's a black eye and, that's violent and that's absolutely unacceptable. But like someone like me and many others, sadly, I can take that. I've taken it a million times. I'd rather have that than the insidious abuse that happens when somebody has Munchausen by proxy. My husband has told my doctors since 2019 that I have Munchausen disease, and they have given me the wrong care in hospitals. I have been given psych evals repeatedly. U of M turned my water off in my hospital because my husband convinced them I was drinking the water from the shower, and that I gave myself hypotermia. I don't even know what that was. He knew what it was. There's some things that he did that caused really bad medical reactions, but I need to talk to the police about those. And so I come home from the hospital. The Christmas tree's still up. It looks like Sodom and Gomorrah just blew up in my house. There's stuff in the tree, like thigh highs and random SEX toys and things, I don't know whose they were, and random thongs and nylons. And well, yeah, I mean, my abuser is addicted to nylons. Ouch. Sorry, my knee hurts. And heels, which the police should have talked to me about if I'm okay with this. You have to be, but are you? No. But anyways, we get home from the hospital, and he tells me out of the blue, he texts me and says he's going to take this very seriously, this abuse. And I believe him. So he makes an appointment with the psychologist, and we go together, as he said. Well, we're there, and he asked me to tell him the stuff that my husband was doing to me. So I told him about him lying to the judge, pretending he was crippled and dying, and I can't believe that. But trying to forgive that one. That's pretty rough. But also the falsified police reports, leaving me in jail for 39 days, telling my family I was doing drugs, and no one would get me out. And I've never been in trouble. I've never been in trouble. Probably a couple times in the 90s I really should have been, but that's all of us. But, I don't even know how to tell this, but it's very serious, and I really hope that my trauma brain rambling hasn't lost everybody. But to anybody that's still here, this is important, and if you have any advice, please give it to me. Please. Also, the problem with the Munchausen by proxy that he's talking to the police about, and all that are my doctors, and to everyone. I just found out that 2 years ago, when I really needed help, I called the emergency line, and I wish I didn't, but I finally did. And the reason I didn't want to call is because my abuser used to put the digits on the phone, like hold it up with 911 on it, and say he's going to push the button, and say, all I had to do was call, and you're going to go to jail. And I would just be screaming. I'd be screaming and crying, please don't do that. Why are you doing this to me? And I would collapse, and I wouldn't be able to get up. I have slept on the bathroom floor in my home. So then I get this report, and he takes over the investigation, and I called about sexual abuse, but I'm doing what my daughter does all the time, like stemming. I love it. I miss her. I read this report, and he told the detective, I have Munchausen disease, and that it was diagnosed in the hospital, and they gave me mood stabilizers, and that's not true. He told them psychiatric problems and all this stuff, and these aren't true. Well, they are now. I have PTSD extremely bad, but so the police, for my essay report, my call, he takes over, and they say in there, and he says, I want to tell me more about Munchausen disease. So they're Googling it and looking this up. And now he's convinced I'm absolutely crazy. Well, I called and I talked to his boss, who was really nice. And, but he said, we don't just believe that stuff. Like, well, yeah, he clearly did, because he asked more about it, and the word Munchausen's through his report repeatedly. So, yeah, he thinks I'm making myself sick, I'm making things up, I'm making up illnesses. So obviously I must be making this up too. And refused to speak to me, screamed in my face. They took my car keys right out the car window. And, while I was very angry for a long time, I realized, when I read the report for like the 6th time, the redacted part thing, the only thing I have, I realized, well, I need to forgive him because he's manipulated. But has anyone ever dealt with Munchausen by proxy? This is something I need really big help with. Obviously, I'm using a filter. My body is collapsing. My skin is coming off my bones. My eyes are sunken in, which thankfully you can't see because of the filter. And in the last 2 years since I left on foot, I have collapsed so many times, but and when my husband told them I have Munchausen disease, when he has Munchausen by proxy, when this is a deadly thing, and it's not only that, because he has other diagnoses as well, a lot of them. And so anyways, to get where I also was with asking for this, I hate PTSD. I'm so sorry, you guys. We went to the psychologist, this one that I mentioned. This is, you can tell the filter. And so we went there, and the man, when I was talking, all of a sudden he looks away, and he's staring at me like this. Now he's not even blinking. He's just looking at my husband like this in his eyes. And the energy changed, and the energy completely shifted. And I mean, it was dead. And all of a sudden he's taking off his glasses, and he does it very, 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 very slowly, staring the whole time. It's like this, staring at him. And then he folded one arm in, and he's, way slower than I'm going. And he folds the other arm in. This is, I don't know how long it could have been, a minute, could have been 20, but it was a very long time. And it never left his eyes off of him the whole time. When he took off his glasses, he went like this, folding slowly, but never losing touch with his face, his eyes. And he put him on a clipboard. Then he said, there is no help for you. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? And my husband says, oh, and he goes, you need to be in the hospital. And he goes, yeah, I know. In a voice I'd never heard before. The man said, I'm returning all the visits to Chrysler. I'm returning them all back. You are not allowed in the building. If you come near the building, my receptionist is calling the police. And I'm in shock. And he ordered me into trauma hospital for trauma therapy. This is 2 years ago. I am still on foot. People are still listening, and I need help with the police so that they can